George Washington. Way over the top there. But it really is an honor and a blessing to be with each and every one of you this morning. Thank you so much for taking time out of what I know are very busy schedules to come out and allow me to share some thoughts from truly a spiritual basis, from a Judeo-Christian foundation and heritage about our country and the direction that we should be going in. But before I get started, there are some political candidates here that I would like for them to stand and introduce themselves, because it's so important that we know the people that are out there that are putting themselves into that arena, because they want to be the ones that go and represent you, because that's important. So if please, and I want to start off with my dear friend, State Representative, please. Others?
Gentleman Pastelnik, State House District 91.
Is there anyone else? Nope. Okay. Well, again, I want to tell you how special it is that to be here with each and every one of you. And I just want to say this. This is a time when we have to stand with courage. This is a time when the principles and beliefs that we hold dear are being challenged. And this is the time when I will tell you, I have no fear in standing upon who I am and what I represent. Because, unfortunately, politics is a dirty business. And there are some people that feel that they can have intimidation type of tactics and they can do the type of things that make you afraid of standing up. Because I know that here today we have a representative from the Florida Democrat Party. And he is here to film me. And his whole purpose of filming me is to take what I say and allow other people to distort it so that they can misrepresent me. If we allow those Gestapo type intimidation tactics to prevail in the United States of America, what happens to our liberties? What happens to our freedoms? And for you pastors that are sitting out here, for my pastor, Scott, what happens on the day when someone comes in and films your sermon or films the messages that we're giving our churches so that they can go back and they can use that against us? I will not allow anyone from the Democrat Party, being at the national level, from the state level, or even Ron Klein, to intimidate me and keep me from saying that which is true and right by the American people. And I condemn them for what they're doing. For the young man that is here that is filming me, I pray God's mercy and blessing upon you. Because obviously, you're misguided and you don't understand what the Founding Fathers established for us in the Declaration of Independence and in our Constitution. I want to talk to you today about this thing called socialism. But I want to talk to you about what socialism means from the Bible. Because there's a very great story that is in there. And it's been sent around a few times on the internet. And I think it's a very prescient story for us today. And I want to share it with you. And it comes from Genesis chapter 47, starts at verse 13. And this is the time when the famine had hit Egypt. And Joseph was the one that was chosen to deal with it. And I read, and I ask, with the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable to thee, O Lord my God. Now there was no bread at all in the land, for the famine was very severe, so that the land of Egypt and the land of Canaan languished because of the famine. And Joseph gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, for the grain which they brought, and Joseph brought the money into Pharaoh's house. So when the money failed in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came to Joseph and said, "Give us bread. Why should we die in your presence? For the money has failed." Then Joseph said, "Give your livestock, and I will give you bread for your livestock if the money is gone." So they brought their livestock to Joseph, and Joseph gave them bread in exchange for the horses, the flocks, the cattle of the herds, and for the donkeys. Then he fed them with bread in exchange for all their livestock that year. When that year had ended, they came to him the next year and said to him, "We will not hide from my lord that our money is gone. My lord also has our herds of livestock. There is nothing left in the sight of my lord but our bodies and our lands. Why should we die before your eyes, both we and our land? Buy us and our land for bread. We and our land will be servants of Pharaoh. Give us seed that we may live and not die, that the land may not be desolate." Then Joseph bought all the land of Egypt for Pharaoh. For every man of the Egyptians sold his field, because the famine was severe upon them. So the land became Pharaoh's. And as for the people, he moved them into cities, from one end of the borders of Egypt to the other end. Only the land of the priests did he not buy. For the priests had rations allotted to them by Pharaoh, and they ate their rations which Pharaoh gave them, therefore they did not sell their lands. Then Joseph said to the people, "Indeed, I have bought you and your land this day for Pharaoh. Look, here is seed for you, and you shall sow the land. And it shall come to pass in the harvest that you shall give 1/5 to Pharaoh. 4/5 shall be your own, as seed for the field and for your food, for those of your households, and as food for your little ones." So they said, "You have saved our lives. Let us find favor in sight of my Lord, and we will be Pharaoh's servants." And Joseph made it a law over the land of Egypt to this day, that Pharaoh should have 1/5, except for the land of the priests only, which did not become Pharaoh's. If you can understand that passage, if you can understand what is happening in the United States of America today, it wasn't too long ago that the chief of staff in the Obama administration, Rahm Emanuel, said, "Never let a good crisis go to waste." The number one tenet of a socialist ideology is to nationalize production, to take all the things that the American people are able to produce and subsume it under a large government. And if you could understand what we talked about in that passage from the Bible, you could see that because of a crisis, all of a sudden, the people gave away their money. When the money ran out, the people then gave away their livestock. When the livestock gave out, then the people gave away their land. And even then upon that, they gave away their bodies themselves. See, if we are not careful, if we don't understand that the power in the United States of America does not rest with a pharaoh that nationalizes your production, controls your life. The power in the United States of America rests with each and every one of you, the individual. And when you understand the Judeo-Christian heritage and principles upon which this country was established, you realize that the individual is preeminent. That's the importance of the Reformation that Martin Luther had back in 1517 when he said each and every person has the right and the ability to have a relationship with God. You don't need someone to come in and intercede. You don't need someone that says, "I will stand in the gap for you." You are able to stand in the gap yourself. But if we're not careful, if we allow a government to grow and subsume more and more of who we are, then we'll be, as we saw, the people in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, where all of a sudden we have surrendered everything that we are, all of our production to them. And isn't it amazing that all of a sudden we do see the growth of the cities, and you see the failures in the urban environments? All you have to do is take a look at Detroit, Michigan, and you can see what has happened over time to that great city because of failed liberal social welfare programs that did not respect and understand the individual, but saw them as a collective, which leads to the second point of a socialist theory and ideology. It believes in the creation and the expansion of a welfare state, the growth of an entitlement class. And if you understand that passage there coming out of Genesis 47, you can see what happened to the people there in Egypt. Were they empowered? Were they victors? Were they people that were able to stand up and given the opportunities, the conditions to be set for the betterment of their lives? No. They became